Good day, folks. Welcome to another episode of Stuff and Such. So today's project, we're going to be rehandling an axe. I already got the head in a bath. I'll try and put some footage in right now. Basically, what that is just a white vinegar bath that slowly just eats away on the rust and makes them look relatively good again. Now, when you do that, you want to make sure that you put a coating back on the metal so that it's not, so the metal's not extremely porous and rust right away on you. So something simple like giving it some linseed or something. So this head's been soaking in here for a day, maybe 20 hours, and you'll see if you can get real close. It's bubbling away in there, and that's just the reaction of the acids. It could stay in there for a bit longer, but I'm kind of impatient, and it's pretty good. A lot of the rust is fairly loose, so we'll pull it out and then see what it's like. So it is fairly cruddy still. See, you'll notice that black. There's a distinct line. I don't know if you can see it or not. It's right about there. And what that is that's where the temper in the axe ends. So that black that rubs off on your fingers, that's actually carbon out of the steel that's just on the surface. Now if I just left this for another day, it would come out absolutely mint, but I do sort of want to get this project on the go. Ideally it would have a name on it which would indicate the make of it, because it could just very well be a cheap axe head. Alright, so we got the head cleaned up good. There's no touch marks or any branding on it, which would then lead me to believe that it's likely just a economy mode or economy head, in which case then I wouldn't spend too much time on them usually. But kind of looking at it, it is hammer forged. You'll see the denting in it, and then it is sanded. It is got decent steel in it. It's able to be, because you can see that it's been heat treated there on the steel. You can see that change in the steel. So it does have some promise. I have hit it with the file. Now, the file test tells me it's not too bad. It's not amazing, but I wouldn't say it's a bad axe. So we're going to go ahead and get after it. So what I'm going to do is just go wash it off, get all this acid off my hands, and get that burning sensation stopped, and go from there. There we go, we got her washed off, ready to go. Next thing we need to do is get that wooden plug out. It can sometimes be a bit annoying. Typically I just drill them out kind of as close to the front as you can get. we got one piece out, and that's one of the biggest things to do, is get your first one out. So ideally I'd have a vise here, but my vise doesn't have very good lighting, so here we are outside. Alright, so once you got that far, you just want to make sure it's fairly clean in there. You want to get good purchase. So next thing you want to do is you want your handle. Now, a couple things to check with a handle is, one, you want to sort of make sure the thing is straight. By looking down it. This one's not bad. Another thing you want to check is you want to check your end grain. Now, you want your grain to, the most optimal is cut from a very large tree, and they run like that. And that way, then all your grains are running straight up this barrel full width. Whereas if they're like this is the absolute worst. If they're on an angle, sideways, what that does is then draw your imaginary line. I'll draw on this thing. So let's say this is your so. Well, the first thing that's going to happen is this will eventually chip off. This line will peter out. That line would peter out. That line would probably peter out. That line would carry on. That line would carry on, and then so on and so forth. So you would lose your entire integrity of your axe handle. Whereas when they're straight up and down, this inside would be a grain. I'll draw it on the back side. That's what your grains would look like in optimal. That way they get the full plane of the width of your axe handle. So when you're choosing handles at the hardware store, throw the ones that are garbage far away from you and don't choose them. Next thing is that pretty much always they'll never fit right out of the package. I think they're made oversized. So you will need to sand them down. Now usually I would use a rasp and a spoke shave for little draw shave, I think they're called, something like that. This time I'm going to try using belt sander. Usually you drive them down by hitting them on the butt. But this one's got such a small little buttstock. I'm worried about breaking it. So we'll see how this goes. It's going. I can see it's pushing up a little burr on each side, which is good. Sometimes it's kind of nice just to put a little mark on it, that way you can keep checking to see that it's moving. Ooh. Starting to come out the top now. You can feel, you can kind of hear if it moves or not when you hit it. Just has a different little pop to it. Ideally, I'd get it down to about here. But we'll see how it goes. It's getting there. We'll check those lines. That's probably as far as she's gonna go. So that's where we're at now. Got about a 1/4 inch more. Let's see. Oh, we got her 16th. See, just a hair left of it. There, we'll give her 15 more cracks. 1, 2, 3. Alright, she didn't move anymore. She's fully seated. Now comes the fun part. You got to make a wedge for it. Wooden wedge. Usually axe handles come with them. And I kind of lost them. So, my bad. So I'm going to go ahead and try and make one out of an oak. Piece of oak plank I got. Well, sort of looks like a wedge. So that took way longer than that's worth. As for the top, it's got a little bit too much sticking out, so if you have a fancy dancy saw, by all means go ahead and cut that off. But if you're just wanting to get something done, let's go ahead and do that. So then, now that you got it that far, comes a little trickier part, and that's to get this thing started. Alright, so we got her started now. You ideally want to use a full strike. Uh-oh. That's not good. That's not good. Well, she split. Ideally, you'd pull that out and stick a new one in, but not happening. Well, folks, that went poorly at the end there. It really won't hold for any length of time. Yeah. Unfortunately, I don't really have any other hardwood to use besides that piece of oak, and it's fairly splintery, as you saw. I did get some in there, not very much. It's all sort of busted to pieces. So that's kind of disappointing on that end. So for now, we'll just go ahead and put a edge on it. Alright guys, I'm going to sign off now. I hopefully found some little bit of information. Sorry about that major screw up at the end there. That kind of hurts my feelings. Unfortunately, it'd be quite difficult to get that out of there, and even if I did, I don't have anything better to replace it with. So I got in there a little ways. So yeah. Anyways, thanks for watching, guys. I better get going, and ciao.